Hey guys, welcome to the sixth episode of the Awarenezzz Podcast. Today we are here with our guest, Miguel Gonzalez. Thank you very much for being here. Tell us about yourself.
First of all, thank you guys for the invitation to the podcast. I'm Miguel. I'm from Spain. I'm a golfer. I play college golf here on the first team. I've been playing golf for most of my life, but I really didn't start taking it competitive until COVID.
Okay. So now you're here. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit. You say you didn't start playing seriously until COVID. So run us a little bit through that process before COVID. How was the golf for you? How was everything?
Well, I would say I was just a normal kid. I played paddle, tennis, basketball,
Okay.
apart from golf. For me, golf was more like a activity to do to play with my dad on
Like
the
a
weekends. Yeah, more like a hobby, once or twice a week. I played some tournaments for kids, but nothing special. I was taking way more seriously, for example, paddle or
Okay.
tennis.
That's interesting.
But later on, I got called by my regional team, which they do like some kind of they get a lot of kids and they
Like the ID camp.
yeah, like some type of stuff like that. And there I started seeing some players which were better than me, and I was like, oh, this is actually nice. Like I want to get better.
Okay.
This was when I was like 13 or so. So I started playing a little bit more, got called more and more by the regional team. And then when I actually started taking it seriously,
Yeah.
it was right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I played for half a year, got a couple of good tournaments. In fact, in one of them, I got one free week at IMG summer camp
Okay.
there. But then COVID came and I just couldn't practice anymore.
All right. So you said that you got called while you were like just playing 2 times a week, just
Yeah.
doing these little tournaments. Somebody saw you and they called you, or how was that process?
Most of it was thanks to one of my friends' mom.
Okay.
My friend was already in those type of tournaments with the regional team.
Okay.
So she told one of the coaches that there's one guy here on our club, a friend of my son. He doesn't practice a lot, but he's talented.
Like you had some
Yeah.
talent in you. You were kind of good.
Yeah, so they basically called me there, and
Okay.
I started enjoying it more.
Okay.
So when COVID came, did you keep training on your own, or maybe you started serious when COVID came?
Yeah, it was tough, because golf's a sport that obviously you need a lot of room, you need a golf course, and if you don't have the equipment to practice indoor, it's tough. What I did was I basically got like one of my sheets for the bed from the bed, put it
Yeah.
on a bush in my garden, and start hitting balls against it.
That's crazy.
But
man.
that was everything I could do basically. But you couldn't do much
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
quarantine,
Yeah, like it must have been tough for you because you finally started seriously in the sport, and then COVID came, and so you couldn't really prove yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? What was that really motivating you throughout all the COVID to keep hitting the balls through the bush, to keep practicing? Did you see like you could get something out of it?
I just started enjoying it so much.
Okay.
I wanted to play bad,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't resist to hit balls there. It wasn't something I wasn't thinking like I want to be a college golfer. I want to be this good, this good. No, I just enjoyed it. That came after,
Okay.
like wanting to be a college athlete.
So you didn't have that outcome in mind
No,
of trying to be a college golfer, or trying to be, I don't know, for some people it might also be like a professional. You just enjoy doing it, and you say,
Yeah.
okay, let's see if I can get something out of this.
yeah.
And then
Okay.
after COVID, did you start to go to a club, or you just kept training on your own?
I was always in a club because,
Okay.
like in a golf club,
So
but
when COVID happened, you were still in the club?
no, there I couldn't. But like
Okay.
before, because on golf you gotta be a member of a club to play.
Okay.
And I got like classes once in 2 weeks with a coach, but nothing serious.
Nothing.
But after COVID, one new coach arrived to my golf club, and I started taking some classes with him, and I think it really changed how I see golf, like how I used to see golf, and it switch it to what I see like now. Before the other coach wasn't like super serious, and
Okay.
this guy started managing my game more professionally and taught me how to play basically. And there was when I started thinking about college, because I saw some of my
Okay.
friends were going there, and I actually started competing seriously. That was kind of the process there.
And then, like, what were these things about the coach, the new coach that you have, that maybe he started implementing yourself, that like changed your mindset, changed your perspective? What were those aspects about that coach?
First of all, he was part of the coach team on the regional team,
Okay,
so I started playing basically every tournament there.
all right.
And
With
that
the regional team,
with it, it's not like already with the regional team. It's like
the regional tournament.
regional tournaments
Okay.
that are organized by the regional team,
Okay,
and through those tournaments you can get to go to national tournaments with the
all right,
regional
all
team.
right, all right. Okay.
For me, the most important thing that this coach brought to me was practice.
Okay.
Stop practice just hitting balls and actually making it more organized and serious. The biggest thing was like he taught me, instead of hitting 150 balls with no purpose, to hit 50 balls, focus on something. That was the biggest thing.
That's really interesting, man. Because many people think that it's just about volume, about doing too much, about doing more. But most of the time, if you do less, but do it like more intentionally and do it better, you're gonna see way more progress.
I totally agree with that.
Especially in golf, it's more about focus than just getting like the
Yeah.
volume.
Yeah, because I mean, golf is not like other physical sports where you get tired and you can practice more.
Yeah.
In golf, you can be 10 hours on the golf course, and I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you get tired, but you can be there, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes being so much time on a golf course doing things without purpose that may be wrong, you may be hurting your game instead of helping, can be bad for you.
That's very interesting, man. I never thought about it. Like, so you're saying that maybe sometimes doing too much, if it's not the right thing in golf, can actually affect your game.
I agree. I would say so.
Or
Yeah.
what is it, because maybe it's too much muscle memory in the technique, and then
Yeah.
you kind of get your body used to the wrong movement.
Basically, is that golf is super technical.
Yeah.
So it's all about repetition. If you start doing the stuff correctly and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, you're getting better. But if you do something wrong and you repeat it so many times, you get that feeling like it's so natural to you that you don't even think about it and you're doing
Right.
something wrong.
So it might happen after the 80th rep. Maybe the technique starts to get worse and worse.
Yeah. You see it. You see,
Sure.
why am I struggling? Like this happens to so many golfers.
Okay.
Some randomly, they're like, why am I struggling? I'm practicing a lot. And then they go to a coach and they tell him, okay, you're doing this.
Okay.
And it's always kind of like that.
So would you say like an important trait of a golfer is recognizing that moment where when they start doing something wrong, and then like saying, okay, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna adjust. Not just forcing through it, but like recognizing when you're doing something wrong.
Especially at a higher level, I would agree with that. I think at a higher level, your practices shouldn't be that much technique based. It's
Okay.
more about hitting objectives, not about bringing the club in some position or other.
Right.
But when you see that you can't hit that shot, you need to go to the reason why you can't hit this shot.
Okay.
And then you fix it and you go again to practice on the objectives.
That's something I never really thought about, because I usually used to train a lot of free kicks, for example, but then I used to think like, okay, I'm starting to hit them bad. I'm just gonna keep hitting them.
Yeah.
Like just the volume is gonna get me there. I'm gonna get me there, but I never really stopped to think, okay, why am I doing? Is this actually helping me, or at what point am I starting to hurt myself? And I think that's something that really applies to every sport. But
Does.
like you can see, like in sport is like in golf is like a bigger thing, and I think that's something that might help every sport
It
actually.
must be like hard to just like after hitting the 50 ground and have like a bad feeling.
Yeah.
What's it called? Like bad feeling in your stick, maybe.
It-
That you like that you actually say to yourself, okay, Miguel, now I'm gonna stop
Yeah,
and keep doing it maybe tomorrow again.
That
Every time I go on the pitch and I want to finish with like the best thing.
yeah.
that's actually something super common for me. Like I'm a guy that when he's playing good, I don't really enjoy practicing. I don't practice that much when I'm playing well. But when I start doing that wrong feeling, it feels super bad. It feels disgusting because you're putting the work, but you're getting no reward.
Okay.
So that makes me go more and more, and a lot of times that's even worse.
It hurts you.
Or it has to be like a bad feeling going home from practice and think like, oh, I did a step back.
And you're like overthinking it. So at least for me, like I'm at home, I come back from practice, I may be doing dinner or something, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could try this. Like that type of stuff happens a lot.
But then would you say in that case, is it better to just stop and go home and think about like what you can do, or just at the moment readjust it and do it in a better way? What would you think would be better in that case?
It's hard to tell, but at some times it's just a little thing that is not clicking. Okay. That's why I like recording so much my swings.
Okay.
You see, if it's something that you see, you just try to fix it there.
At the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, and especially if you're a little bit more, you have a lot more experience. A lot of your mistakes are the same. You know, they just come back and go.
Yeah, you can recognize it easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, there's some times where you're so desperate that it's not worth it, because you're gonna try to change 10 things at the same time, and that's gonna hurt you more.
Okay, and that's when it's important to say, okay, I'm gonna stop. Yeah. I'm gonna try tomorrow when I'm more calm. It's actually a very mental part, because not a lot of people are willing to do that.
No.
So you work a lot with like doing videos of yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think like every golfer does it like this, or like on a high level?
I would say most of them. Then there's just some people who are so natural talented that they don't really need it that much.
Okay.
They just go and play and it works for them. But especially nowadays with all the technologies that we're having, that they're improving, I would say so, yeah. Most of the people do.
And also having somebody there in case, like you having a coach that can actually see you and tell you what you're doing wrong. Would you say that's very important for you?
I would say that's probably the most important thing.
Okay.
Because it's super easy to see problems in other people's swing, but it's super hard to see on your.
Right.
That's why the coach is so important, because they see it super easily, and obviously they're professionals in their job, so they're so good at telling you your mistakes and how to fix them that I think it's a crucial part on the sport.
Yeah, and like it's a third party, it's a third person watching it, and like they don't really have another interest than just seeing what they know and just saying to you what they know.
Yeah.
That's usually what's gonna make you better, right?
It is.
Right. So we went through that golf process before COVID and everything. What was that point where you started saying, okay, I'm actually good at this? I want to make something bigger out of this.
Okay, so after confinement, I started playing those regional tournaments. I would say about when I was 16, I played my first national championship, team championship, not the individual one.
All right. With your regional team?
With my regional team. I did a good job, but I loved it. I just loved the environment there. How many good players. I was like super surprised. And then I started practicing, and the next year, it was when I went to the next national championship in teams, and then I did a pretty good job. I did a top 10 on the stroke play, which is you play normal run for the first day, and then you play other teams the next day.
Okay.
And then I won 2 out of 3 of my matches, my match plays. Right. And there is where I was, okay, I might try to go to the US, because I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm always improving. I'm not saying that I'm going in a bad direction, so that's where I was like, I should try.
Okay, and then what were those switches in your I don't know, routine? Those changes in your routine. As soon as you realized this, did you start doing something different as you had a goal in mind, rather than before that you didn't really have a lot of intention with it?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, it's always been like getting more time to practice.
Okay.
More. Obviously, I went from practicing a lot and bad to practicing less and well.
Okay.
But then from there, I started going to more and more, and still doing it well.
Okay, that's really interesting.
So for me, I didn't have any days off. I practiced every day of the week, and then maybe 2 hours from Monday to Friday instead of 40 minutes that I did before, 1 hour.
Okay.
And then on the weekends, 5 or 6 hours. Saturday.
What do you think? How did you manage to go from high quantity but less quality to do like high quantity and also high quantity. Of course, you said like stopping when you feel like your technique is getting worse.
Yeah.
But also like some other impacts.
I did a coach change. Again, I changed my coach.
Okay.
I would say that helped.
Right.
It was just, instead of just hitting balls to hit balls, I started doing some drills, some series of drills. Not only drills to change my technique, but to hit some type of shots that would help.
All right.
And then the biggest thing for sure was mental.
Okay.
Mental and strategy on the golf course. That for me was the biggest change I've done so far.
Okay. And is very interesting. You said strategy. Like, is there what? Tell us a little bit how like the strategy of golf goes, because people don't actually think that there's a lot of strategy in golf. They just think it's like just trying to put the ball in the hole. When you're telling that there's a strategy for golf.
Okay, so what I mean with that is basically aiming. Where do you aim? For example, let's say you have danger on your right side.
Yeah.
And on the left side, you're not gonna be good, but you're not gonna be bad.
Okay.
If you go aiming right at the middle, you put in play the right side. But maybe if you aim to the left, it's called a rough. You have the fairway, the rough, and the out of bounds normally.
Okay.
So instead of aiming to the middle, you aim to the rough. You take out of play the danger on the right,
Okay.
and you put the ball there. So I basically learned where to play my shots and how to play my shots in a way where I just improve the outcome.
Okay.
So getting to know like your own strengths and know which parts
Yeah.
are stronger.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to stop thinking about put in the hole, and aim somewhere different.
Like you need to know yourself, like know how it usually goes and play with that.
Yeah.
Especially on like the big courses. Like, big distance to cover.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I totally agree.
And I usually, cause I kind of know I'm not an expert on golf, but I've seen a little bit. What is that process that goes through hitting the ball? Because I know it's very mental. Like, run us a little bit about that routine. Do you have any routine? Anything that you do consistently? Run us a little bit through that.
Okay, so this is one of the most important parts of golf.
Yeah.
Just the pre-shot routine.
Okay.
Because how are you're trying to replicate a really technical movement every time.
Yeah.
And you make your life a lot harder if you don't do the same routine. You should try to do the same thing always to hit the same shot always.
Okay.
So for me, I just step behind the ball.
Yeah.
And I focus as much as I can on the objective. It could be the flag or it could be other plays. Like I was saying, like sometimes you don't need to go
So,
far.
like sometimes you could aim to a tree.
Or to a bunker. You know.
Okay.
Like it's weird in that sense, but that's how good players play.
So you don't always aim at the hole.
No, sometimes you play so that your miss is your good shot.
Okay. Okay.
That's how.
That's very interesting. Okay, so you said you stand behind the ball.
Yeah. I just stand there, focus on the objective, and then some people are super technical with it, like exactly doing 3 practice swings. Some people even try to do the same breathing, the same amount of breaths before hitting the ball. I personally don't take it that serious. For me, it's more about getting behind the ball, and then for my practice swings, I just try to feel what I need to do then.
Okay.
Like a little feel. It's not something super precise.
Okay.
And then I step on the ball, and the biggest thing for me, it has been, I get the image of where I want to hit the ball, and I keep it in my mind. Like it's just creating an image in your mind. Visualizing the shot.
You imagine yourself hitting the right ball.
Like I'm looking at the ball, and I still see my objective.
Okay.
You know, that's how I.
So you keep your objective in mind.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like a mixture between like the routine, stepping behind the ball, and also like kind of like a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, because if you stay consistent with that routine, most of the time you stay consistent with your shots, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing the same thing.
And if you're seeing the objective while you step at the ball, at the same time you're stop thinking about the dangers.
Okay.
Because normally your mind tricks you, and if you're thinking about a danger, you're most likely are gonna hit it into the danger.
And then, by danger, do you mean like
hazards, bunkers, out of bounds.
Okay.
Just where you don't want to hit it.
Okay, and then during that routine, how do you go away from those distractions in the environment?
It's just a matter of being focused. It's just practice.
You just don't even think about what's going on in the outside?
That's why I try to focus on the objective.
Okay.
Because if I just go there and try to hit the shot with no routine or anything, it's a lot easier for me to start being like, don't hit it in the water. But that's the worst thing you can do. You should be thinking, hit it into the pin and not don't hit it into the water.
Okay, so think about your objective instead of what do you don't want, focusing on what you want to do instead of not what you don't want to do.
Exactly, that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And I also wanted to ask you, because I saw the other day, I mean not the other day, but probably a year ago, Tiger Woods video, I think it was, that mid-shot he stopped.
Yeah.
And everybody was going crazy for it. Like, how is that? Was it like that he realized that his shot wasn't in the right track when he was doing it, or what was it that was really impressive about it?
The thing is that you focus so much on the golf shot that you forget about anything. Okay. So you're so focused on hitting the ball that it's so tough to stop. And in that case particularly, Tiger was super famous for, apart from being the best golfer obviously, it was for being able to stop his swing when a distraction popped.
Okay.
Like somebody talked, he saw something move, and instead of just hitting it,
like forcing it
and hitting it bad, which happens a lot, he stopped.
Okay.
He goes back, does again the full routine, and hits it perfect.
And that's like, I think that happens in a matter of not even seconds, like milliseconds, where you have to realize that. Yeah, that's like, because I always had that like, why is people going crazy over it? Then I started realizing, I just wanted to ask you again.
Yeah, that's basically the reason. It's like super hard. I personally, I just been able to do it a couple of times, and it wasn't even like, it's not even mid-swing, you know?
Yeah.
It's even tough to stop when you're stepping into the ball already and you have the club set. You haven't even started.
Okay.
It's super hard to get out, even if you haven't started.
If you just want to force it.
Because you're so focused, you try to get so ready for the shot that you can't think about anything else.
Okay, that's really interesting, man. Also wanted to revisit that part that was really important for me. So you went from high volume, low volume, high quality, and then you went to high volume, high quality.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's very important also that to do things in stages, right? So at the beginning, you were not really experienced. You were just doing a lot without knowing that you were doing things wrong, probably, that weren't really helping you. Then you went to a coach that adjusted and say, okay, we're going to do less, but we're going to do better. But then you went to a coach, you already know the basic stuff, the fundamentals and everything, and you took that basic stuff, those fundamentals, and started putting more volume into it. And I think that's really important. Like how important do you think it was to go to like through stages, like going one thing first, then going to another, instead of trying to force everything, to try to do everything very fast?
I think it was super positive for me. I think a lot of times people just burn out practicing so much, and this is one of the biggest reasons. You gotta learn how to take things with patience.
Okay.
Because if you try to do everything at once and take a really big step, maybe you're able to do it for 2 weeks.
It's like a philosophical, I'm sorry. Like seeing like the golf course, you don't want to hit it directly into the target, but also like doing it step by step.
Exactly. Instead of just hitting it, just routine, focus, think of the stuff and hit it.
Which can transfer to the practice progress.
Of course, and that takes a lot of mental strength, because a lot of people might think, okay, I'm not really doing that much, and you have that end goal, you have that goal you want to get to, and you want to get to it as fast as possible. But people don't understand that there's a process that goes through it, that maybe is not sometimes the fastest way, is probably not the best way to do it. And it's just like that consistency over a long period of time is what's gonna get you there.
Exactly.
And like what were your thought processes through when you started doing less volume but more high quality? Did you get impatient at some point? Like, did you want to do more at one point, or were you conscious that was the right thing to do?
I mean, the only problem I see with doing less and best quality is that it's not as entertaining.
Okay.
As going around and like doing some random shots on the course with your friends. But going from that, especially because when I was going with my friends, I wasn't focused on the practice.
Okay.
So I went to go by myself a lot of times, most of the time, and being super focused. So I didn't really feel the urge of practicing more because it wasn't that entertaining, you know. So that would be the thing. Yeah, like I just didn't feel like doing more.
And then did you start probably seeing more progress from those? Yeah. And do you think that was something that told you, okay, I'm doing something right, I'm gonna keep doing it, like getting that reinforcement from this low quantity, high quality practices?
I think that was huge. Yeah, honestly, I think like in golf you see the results normally. Obviously, you hit the ball better or worse, but normally you see it on the scores you do. Okay. So on the scoring average, seeing that go low, and especially remember when I told you I went to those regional tournaments and I saw all of these players. Yeah. Starting to see that, okay, I'm playing better than these guys. Like my average is already better. I'm putting more work than them, obviously, but I'm still doing less than before, and I'm growing higher.
Okay.
Quicker.
And then did that keep you motivated?
Yeah, sure. It's time. I think a good thing about starting late was that I've never not been motivated.
Okay.
I've always wanted more and more, and I put more work on it.
You also mentioned like being focused when you're on your own.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the practice is like 4 hours long, you said to me. Like, is it hard to keep the focus for the whole practice session?
For me, I normally divide practice in sections. So in golf you have short game, long game, and normally you do golf course. Like you just go play the course. When I do especially short game, I want to be by myself because you need to be focused there, and it doesn't really help having other guys there as long as you don't like compete with them. I feel like having people to practice is good because it encourages you to practice and to show up basically. But if you're working on something specific, it hurts more than that it helps, honestly.
Okay, so sometimes it's better to be by yourself because it allows you to focus more.
Yeah.
Okay, but then it might be good in case you want to like compete.
Yeah.
And it drives you more, right?
And just having a team there, like who knows, like they're also on the field, which also like maybe accountable.
That's something that's been hard to me since I was little, because there's like 5 courses where in my city, and in particular in my course there was no kids, so I was just by myself all the time. Later I got some friends to play and I was practicing with them, but I've been always used to practice by myself.
Okay.
That's why maybe it's for me just the practicing with people, it's a little bit worse for you.
Okay.
Just because I've always been used to practice by myself. But I would say that having people there also helps.
Okay.
Because when I was by myself practicing, it was super easy to go and hit balls on the range and like practice your short game. But playing a golf course 2 or 4 hours by yourself, it's like...
For some things it's better to have people, for some things it's better to be by yourself. In your case, I mean, for another person it might be the opposite or might be different, but in your case, that's how it was.
Exactly.
Do you think it has an impact on your like game in the actual competition? Because I know like golf is a lot about concentration, and when you like in the competition, a lot of people around, do you get more distracted easily than other people, you would say?
I don't think so, honestly. I think I do a pretty good job getting there. I think that's most of the time just experience. If you have more experience, more tournaments played, you're better at not getting nervous, not getting distracted. if you have less experience, it's a lot tougher to keep the process going.
Also, the confidence comes from
Yeah.
repetition.
Yeah. And he can also like, I mean, I don't know, probably you can imagine yourself while you're probably surrounded by people, just imagine yourself in those lonely practices, as if it was like a lonely practice, you didn't have anybody around you, and you can just shut up all the noise, right?
Yeah, this again comes to the same thing as doing less but better.
Yeah.
Instead of going and play 18 holes and just play it, what I used to do a lot is just playing with a set of clubs, maybe 2 clubs or only one club. I
Okay.
play the course with it, or I play 2 balls each shot and pick the worst. That type of stuff helps you
Okay.
like keep competing and keep it serious and keep the pressure up.
So you would handicap yourself, like
Yeah.
put yourself in like tougher situations.
Exactly.
Alright,
That's a super
alright.
important part.
Yeah. So like now you walked us through that, like all that process. It was really a short process because you didn't really take it seriously until COVID, and then you saw that big improvement in the adjustments that you made. Now, how was all that process coming here to the US? Like, since you realized, okay, I want to go to the US, and then when you finally got here, run us a little bit through that.
Okay, so starting late,
Yeah.
I haven't been good always. Like I don't say I'm really good right now, but I think I've got to a pretty decent level.
Yeah.
So especially after those national tournaments I told you about later,
Yeah.
I went to IMG.
Yeah.
I saw the people there, all of the stuff going there was incredible. So they encouraged us to do the NCSA thing to go to the US.
Yeah.
And I started looking at universities and how everything was here with the college golf. So I talked with an agency and they told me you need this, and this. And I just started the process, started playing a lot more, practicing even more. And I did a pretty decent season, I would say. And I signed with Indiana Tech.
So the week in IMG had like a big impact on you, like on the decision.
Yeah.
Because you got like a little bit of how the goal here was, and of course the main goal there is to get the athletes
Or maybe
to the college
guys,
level.
Maybe you guys tell like the people out there like what IMG is. Maybe not a lot of people know what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's a as I was there too, so it's a it's a place with incredible facilities, like top level facilities.
It is.
And then they encourage you, like their main goal is to encourage you to get to that college level. So they give you everything you need in terms of education, the mental aspect, the athletic aspect, and it really motivates you, you know, because you see all those things that go to being a top level athlete, and they give all of that to you. I mean, at least that's how I felt. And after going through that was when I said, okay, I want to go to USA to college, which is what happened to
Exactly.
you too.
Yeah. I was there, I just saw all of the stuff and I was like, this is what I want.
Like you get exposed to all the facilities,
Yeah, because
the people.
colleges, especially like good college, are kind of like IMG.
Yeah.
Like you see all of that stuff. And for me, at least, it was so surprising that I was like, okay, I really want to go to the States now and play golf while I get the degree.
Yeah.
That was, I would say, the biggest thing on going to the States, yeah.
Okay.
How did your parents react to the decision?
For them, it was kind of, they didn't take it seriously because they didn't thought I was going to come. Like, they thought it was, because I've always said some stuff
Yeah.
on a day that I feel in the mood and then not do it. But this actually came to happen. So for them, at first was like, okay, yeah, whatever. But while I was getting farther and farther in the process and playing
Okay.
better, they started for the worst thing was for my mom.
Oh.
She didn't like a lot the idea of me coming here. But my dad was good about it. My dad, I must say I've been really lucky with my dad on a golf context.
Okay.
He has always encouraged me to get better
Okay.
and put a really good standard and keep my mind in track. Like he knows what to say. He just lets me know that it's tough, how tough it is to get better at this. but at the same time, he doesn't encourage me to stop doing it. You know?
Right.
So it's like a really good balance between encouraging me when I'm playing bad, but take my ego a little bit lower when I'm playing really good and I do some good stuff.
Okay, so how important is it like to have somebody that, like your dad, that's probably the person that's with you most of the time, to support you in that, and that actually knows how the process is to get you through all that process?
I think it's as important as any of the other thing mentioned before, if not more.
Okay.
Because I know so many people that stop playing because their dad put so much pressure on them, and they tell them that they need to be professional golfer, they need to be this good, shoot these scores. And I think having a dad that just supports you, doesn't put pressure on you, but that supports you, a dad or a person or anyone of confidence, it really helps you keep going, you know.
Like having someone who's kind of like supporting you, never the less like if you're performing or not.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
very important.
Like somebody that doesn't tell you what to do, but that's just there. Like most of the time, we just need support. We just need like somebody to tell you, okay, how things are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like a person from another that has another perspective to tell us how things are. And so, would you say that was a very big game changer for you, having your dad there supporting you, and that he actually knew how things were?
Yeah, I would agree with that. For me, it helped so much. It helped when I played good, because he told me, okay, you did a good job, but you're not that good. You know, it's super important to know that you're not that good, but you're not that bad either. That's how I feel about it. But for me, the most important thing, it was when I did bad tournaments, he was there and he was telling me, okay, it's golf, it's super normal, it's not too serious. Because for me, it's always been like, I play a bad tournament, everybody goes home. They've been playing golf for 6 hours. Right after the tournament, I go to the range and practice for 2 hours or 3 because I'm mad.
Okay.
But he was there like, okay, you can do that, but don't overreact. It's not that big of a deal. Just practice and get ready for the next tournament. And that's been the biggest thing he's done so far, I would say.
And then do you think that ties back to what we talked about earlier? For example, after those tournaments where you got mad, you were just hitting the balls. I mean, I'm just curious. You were just hitting the balls and you were mad. Do you think probably you were doing it the wrong way? Do you think that might affect you more than help you? Or do you think that was kind of more like a therapy thing?
It was more like a therapy thing.
Okay.
It was good for me to let some rage out, just hitting the balls, like hitting it hard and letting it go. But I did a pretty good job, because maybe I was 20 minutes just doing that, but then the other hour, I was like, okay, what went wrong?
Okay, so you actually analyzed it after.
You were just 2 hours like raging.
No. No, I actually like analyzed what happened, and I tried to fix it. A lot of times, you do a little bit or nothing, because it's something that you need to take more, as I said before, with patience, and analyze it like super deep. But it helped a lot.
No, that's actually human. Like after you lost it, or not lost, but you did wrong in a tournament and did wrong, like actually having the right mental state to say, okay, what went wrong?
Yeah.
I think that's actually key, because most of the people, when they perform bad, they just have a warm head. They don't really think about anything. They're just raging and doing stuff without really thinking about it, but actually stopping and saying, okay, what went wrong? Let's try to adjust this. It's actually very key, man. It's actually very important.
Probably has to be just like a good feeling after like a long golf course. You have to be like calm the whole time, and then you can just let it all out.
Yeah.
That's a really good feeling.
Yeah, it's tough. The mental process through a golf round, especially through a tournament, it's super tough. You deal with so many stuff. You deal with you're afraid, you're nervous, you get mad at times, you get super happy at times, and that's not good either.
Okay.
It goes up and down. It's like a roller coaster, but where the biggest thing is just to feel the emotions. You can't be like a rock. You need to feel. You have feelings. You're human. But you need to be able to feel it for super short, you know?
Okay, and not be like too high or too low.
That's a thing I learned in IMG. Yeah. They put a lot of emphasis on this. it was from 1 to 10. When you do your good rounds, let's say 5 is normal, 10 is super happy, and 1 is super mad.
Yeah.
How are you feeling
Okay.
overall? So for me, it's more like a 6 or a 7. So kind of happy, but not extremely happy.
Okay.
So that's why I try. When I get happy, I don't give it a lot of importance because I normally play better. But when I get mad,
Yeah.
I really try to get myself back into that mood.
Okay, so no go to a 1, but just stay as close as possible to the 6 or 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever rage completely on the golf course? Like
Yeah.
in competition?
I mean, in competition, I would say I've done a pretty good job
Yeah.
controlling myself. But sometimes you just can't, you know. It's
Yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And for me on the pitch, sometimes I don't even think. I'm just like getting angry.
Sometimes I haven't snapped a club like a lot of people has.
Yeah.
But dude, like sometimes I just go. At one time I punched a tree. Because breaking a club is like you're losing money. You don't want to break the club, but
Yeah, of course.
I needed to get something out.
And the 3 you're not losing anything, but still it's kind of crazy.
And it hurts. It hurts. But
What's the tree near you? You have to walk like 50 meters.
I finished the hole. Okay, so what I did was 4 putt. In golf, normally you do 1, 2, or if you do really bad, 3 putts.
Okay.
The putt is like the close one.
Yeah, it's when you're like mini golf.
Okay.
So I did 4, and I was super mad because I was playing bad and I had like 3 bad holes, especially because I started good. You know,
Yeah.
it's super tough when you start 3 really good holes and it just
Yeah.
goes downhill. I leave the green. I let my partners go a little bit,
Yeah.
and I was going.
So
like,
you waited for them to
Yeah,
go.
I was just going through a first, and I just went and punched the tree like so hard 3 times,
Then you just walk back like nothing.
and I walked by like nothing happened.
With the hand hardy and everything. No, that's crazy. So you wait for the people to.
Yeah. I do that a lot. I used to do that a
Oh,
lot.
you did.
At least you had some composure.
Not the punch the tree, but
Okay.
for example, we have push guards in golf where you put the bag and you push it. Especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
Spain because here it's not that common. I just take the bag
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
shoulders, and my thing had like the hanger,
Yeah.
which had like some foam, and it was like soft but hard at the same time,
So
like a
you-
punching bag.
Okay.
So every time I missed something and I was mad, like I just leave my partners go and punch it a couple of times, and then I'm back on track. I feel it's super important to know how to get some rage out,
Okay.
but you need to do it in a way either no one notices or it's not something bad, you know?
Or that it doesn't that it doesn't hurt you more than it's helping you.
Yeah.
So would you say it's helpful to do in some times
Yeah.
this type of things of letting your rage out and then go back to that 6 and 7 stage?
Yeah, like if you're on a point where you're gonna go to hit the next shot and you're thinking of the shot you hit before and you're like
still
super
raging.
mad,
Yeah.
you know that you can't play like that.
Okay.
That's the point where you're like, okay, I gotta leave something out. For some people it's screaming, for some people it's throwing a club, for some people it's
Hitting a tree.
hitting a tree.
But just being conscious about what you're doing
Yeah.
and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So like if you say, okay, you punch that, but I know like if I punch it, like, I'm gonna get my rage out, and it's actually gonna help me.
Exactly.
I think
Okay.
it's also like the thing you said, like going after a bad competition, going to the course and like hitting the balls for 2 hours and working on this stuff. I think it's good like to go into the next week of training and like leaving the competition behind you with the 2 hours of letting everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those 2 hours, apart from just fixing some quick stuff, it was like a plan for next week, you know?
Okay.
So I see, why is this happening? It could be technical stuff, it could be mental stuff, whatever. I just make a list in my mind. I didn't write anything down, and I just work on it the next week.
Okay.
That's nice. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's why I asked him like, was it really like more of a therapy to you or something that would actually help you? And yeah, like it's something that you used as a game plan for the next
Yeah.
week, and that would allow you to forget what you were doing in the past week, you know. And I think that's something very interesting, man. And going back to that 6 and 7 stage, that was actually something that we talked about with.
6 and 7.
Yeah, in the 2 weeks ago in the podcast, that there's a wrestler that every time he went to the competition, he didn't want to be too hyped, but he didn't want to be too low.
Yeah.
So he wanted to maintain that 6 and 7 stage out of 10, and that's where he would perform better. So it's like, I mean, for some people they want to be like very hyped. For some people they're just chilling, they want to be low. It's just about maybe like finding that point in which you perform the best, right?
I agree with that. I have some friends who just, if they're too happy, they stop taking it seriously and they just can't perform. And they play better when they're mad.
Okay.
It's weird, but being mad helps them being focused on the next shot.
Okay.
Like they get mad, but they're 100% committed with the next shot. So that's a really big thing that happens with golf. That's why it's so mental. You know, everything we've been talking about, pre-shot routine, and what you think, what you shouldn't think, just how you're feeling, mad, happy, and yeah, I think that's a really big thing of golf.
And understanding yourself, like probably for you it was that stage where you performed at your best. For some people it might be different. For some people they would also have like a different routine. So not just taking what you see in the books, what you see in the videos, but trying it and see what works better for you, right? And I think this applies to every sport.
I think, I totally agree with that. I have some friends that play other sports here, and I like talking with them and comparing this type of stuff. Because for golf, I think that some things are not worked that in other sports are. For example, the physical aspect.
Okay.
I think that's not worked in golf, and it should be worked. It always helps to have more balance, more power.
Okay.
But for example, for some soccer players I've talked with, they don't really work that mental part.
Okay.
Or that pre-shot for a free throw or that type of stuff. And I think I enjoy a lot talking about that and comparing those type of things, because it helps. I think it helps both parts, knowing what to work on.
It's actually true. I think like, especially on not a professional level, like people in football, American football, basketball, they don't focus on the mental state. They just play the game and see what happens.
Yeah, as I said, like when I was doing something wrong, some stuff wrong, probably training my free kick or something.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really stop and say, okay, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the volume, about just going through it, forcing it. But now that I think back to it, it was probably making me more damage than it was helping me, you know? And that's very interesting, man. Now, we went through all that process. Now you come here to America. How has it been for you, man?
There's some stuff that I like so much here, but there's others that I think could improve a lot.
Yeah.
Some things I struggle with to keep up my level.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm having a really good experience.
Yeah.
I enjoy so much competing tournaments 5 times a semester and being able to study, because obviously I'm doing a computer engineering major, and sometimes it's the work it's tough to keep up with it and play at the same time. But I just appreciate so much being here, because if I was in Spain, I know it would be impossible to do both.
Okay. So you think being here in America has given you the opportunity to manage both aspects?
Yeah.
Especially with such like time-consuming sport like golf, like being on a golf course
every day.
Exactly, like each training is like 4 hours, as you said, 5 hours.
And especially it might not be that like physical, like exhausting, but like mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
Then coming home, doing homework, practice or like studying for exam.
Yeah, that's been a tough point to keep up with. I mean, I was already kind of used to it, because high school in Spain it's tough as well. So you're already dealing with that.
Okay.
But yeah, and about what you were saying about the practices, they're long. Yeah, I must say that at least in NAIA level, you don't practice as much. I think I practice the same or more than when I was at high school in Spain.
Okay.
But you can't practice 4 hours, you know.
Okay.
Maybe I can practice 3 when a tournament is closed, and on the weekends even 4 or 5. But but I can't afford to be 6 hours at the golf course every day because you're a student athlete. You're not only an athlete, you know.
Okay, so is that also knowing, okay, I also have my academic part. And for now, do you think that you've handled it very well?
I think I'm doing well. Obviously, I'm a sophomore. I think the classes haven't been as tough as they're gonna get yet.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be a really important thing to learn how to do, to manage golf and this academics. And I think I'm gonna need to start to be like, okay, maybe today I can't go to practice.
Okay,
You know?
so setting up priorities.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's actually also another very important thing, like knowing what your priorities are. And as tough as it might seem, like sometimes you have to set apart some stuff because you have a priority and you have to focus primarily on it.
Yeah.
So probably saying, okay, today I cannot really go the 3 hours I would like to, can only do 1 hour, or I just have to go to the, I can just go to the gym 30 minutes and do like some movements or some stretching. And that's something that athletes really struggle with, like setting up their priorities, and that's how they have trouble managing their time. That's something I really see a lot here.
Yeah, that's true. Especially because we're not, at least in AA, it's not like that high level of sports.
Yeah.
You know, we have a good level as sports players, but it's not as high as in a D1 college.
Okay.
So, for example, people like me, I want to get I want to get better every day, every time. That's always how it's always been. So that gets me to practice more. I need to practice more to get better. But if I practice more, I may not have time to study that much.
Okay. So
It's priorities.
it's just being conscious about your priorities and everything.
Yeah.
No, man, it was really nice talking to you, man. Like getting to know about your experience. Like we knew each other before, but also like just knowing all the things, your background, the things that we didn't know. It's very interesting just to share the experience, and through those experiences we give value to us and also to the people out there. For the ones that want to come here to the U.S. or that are already in the U.S. but want to get to the college level, to know what an athlete, a college athlete goes through, and get those experiences, so probably they don't have to go through it and they already have an idea of how they work before.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you for being here. Now, if you're fine with it, we can do some rapid fire questions about golf. Just some quick questions just to...
Sure.
All right, perfect, man. So what's your favorite course in which you have played?
It's kind of tough to pick between two of them, but I would say definitely it's called Pedreña. It's Sevi's golf course. Sevi Ballesteros is the best Spanish golfer. He's top 10 best golfers in history.
Okay.
And his course is just so beautiful and so well designed.
Okay. Bro, so that one?
Yeah, that's my pick. I was between Trump, DC, and that.
Okay.
But I would pick
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So what's your go-to club? The driver, iron, or putter?
Irons. I'm a really big iron player. That's my stronger part.
Okay, what's your favorite golfer of all time?
The Tiger Woods.
Okay.
That's just like something that happens. So I think everybody would say that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Does everybody in the golf world just say Tiger, or do you see a lot of variety on that?
There's a lot, like it happens in other sports. You have Jack Nicklaus and Tiger in golf. Jack Nicklaus is like an older golfer. He has won more than Tiger, more majors. But I think no one, at least young people, won't disagree with you if you say that Tiger is better.
Okay.
Or it's more, because he might have won less than Nicklaus, but in that 10-year span, he's done something that I think it's never going to repeat.
Okay.
It's never going to happen again. It was so insane.
Okay.
So what was your favorite shot of your whole career?
Oh, this is actually a really tough one. I would say a hole-in-one, you know.
Okay.
And
Maybe-
when was it?
2 years ago. It was
Okay.
just a club tournament, but I mean, there's some shots I can pick, honestly. I couldn't choose between. I have 3 or 4. I had one putt to win a national champion on a match play after making a huge comeback. So that was big, but the hole in ones just feel better because it's something you're gonna do it maybe 5 times in your whole career, and doing it the first, it just feels insane.
Okay. What's the thing that makes you the most uncomfortable or that pisses you the most while you're doing, for example, that routine? Say somebody talking or somebody making a noise.
Somebody talking while I'm doing the routine.
Yeah.
If it's mid shot, I think I'm good managing it because I'm focused already.
You're already in the flow.
But when I'm trying to get in that mood of getting focused and getting the right state of mind, it's tough if someone is talking or distracting you.
Does it happen often, or normally it's quiet?
It does.
happens often?
Unfortunately, I think it would happen at least once or twice around.
Okay.
I mean, you hit on average 75 shots, so yeah.
Okay, and at that point, do you stop or do you keep doing your routine?
If it happens once or twice, I stop. Doesn't matter. But if it's constantly happening, you just need to learn how to.
Yeah. You're not gonna stop your routine.
You need to do
Okay.
it. You need to go and hit it.
Okay.
So, how do you calm your nerves before like a big competition?
I just try to do the same thing every day, every morning, same routine, same stuff. Just puts me in a good mindset.
What do you do for your routine?
I wake up when it's an important tournament. It's when I do the same stuff that I have like a routine for the important tournaments. I wake up, I activate, do some mobility, some push-ups. Then I go for breakfast. I don't really eat the same thing, but I try to eat enough to not be hungry, but not to be full.
Okay.
And then I'll just go to the golf course. I like hitting 40 minutes of balls, 30 minutes of balls.
Okay.
Then
So before the match,
before the tournament.
The tournament starts, you hit like 40 minutes.
then like 10 minutes chipping and 20 minutes putting. That's for me how it works. And then just some little things before the shots. Try to calm down, breathe, control your breathing a lot.
Okay,
That's important for me.
That was the worst conditions you've ever played in.
In tournament,
Yeah.
I would say it was conference last year. Conference last year was insane. It was 38 miles an hour wind constantly, and
So why you have to aim like one side to go to the other one? Or?
Yeah, you aim 30 yards left and you try to curve the ball in a way that it holds the wind, and it still doesn't work. Like the wind still just take it, or you need to hit 3. The course play is so long.
Okay.
Like there was a 3 holes where I normally hit, let's say, my driver that goes 290 yards, and then 8 iron that goes 165 yards each.
Yeah.
So on conference, I played that hole hitting driver, 2 iron. So it was like 290 yards and 230 yards. So that's how different it played with the wind.
So there was like a 60 yard difference.
Yeah, and in fact, the 2 first holes of conference, it was snowing, 20th of April.
Snow 20
1 degree Celsius. It felt like -2. It was insane. Yeah.
I mean, of course you had gloves, but did the gloves even help?
I mean, the thing is that you have the gloves between shots,
Okay.
but you need to take them out to the shot.
Okay.
And maybe you can take 3 jackets, but you need to take some of them out before hitting the
then
shot.
you cannot do the
You can
movement,
turn.
right?
So it's a struggle. I'm so glad it didn't rain, because if in that tournament it rains, it just would have been the worst conditions you can get.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
I mean, next question. We talked about a lot of stuff which can be big impact on the competition. What would you say is like the most underrated skill in golf?
I would say being able to keep the same mindset, to keep calm.
Okay, so more the mental part.
And especially know where you are, know how you're hitting the ball. Because you have a plan of the course before playing, how you're going to play each hole, where you're gonna hit the ball in each hole. But if you plan to hit your normal golf shot that you can't, and you're playing with we call it the A and the B game.
Yeah.
You have the A game, you can play the course the same way. You have the B game, you need to adapt.
Okay.
I would say that's the most important thing. Learning to say, okay, I'm not hitting the ball well, I need to adapt here and play different.
Okay, so you have a plan for perfect conditions, and you have a plan for when things are not going the right way.
Yeah, especially about your own game,
Okay.
how your game is working.
I think people should start doing that more in every sport.
Yeah.
Because I think you can. A lot of times you imagine yourself in the perfect conditions, and the truth is that not even more than often, like I would say most of the time or all the time, there's no perfect conditions. There's no like, the plan doesn't go as planned all the time, you know, it's not perfectly. So you need to know when to adapt, how to adapt when things are not going the right way. I think a lot of, like in every sport, they should take that type of mindset.
So if there's like bad conditions on the practice side, you stay longer sometimes to like use the bad conditions to train for the next competition.
Yeah, and especially if my game is not working. Let's say I'm not hitting the ball well, I'll go to the range and try to at least not make it perfect. That a lot of times makes it worse.
Okay.
I think always saying like making something perfect is always like too big of a goal. Next step.
Just get a little feeling where I can hit that same ball flight, like left to right, right to left, low, high, I don't care. Anything that can work, and you stick to that. And yeah, maybe instead of going for every pin, going for every center of the fairway, you need to aim, you don't have to aim to the pin every time if you're playing bad.
Okay.
You shouldn't. If you do, it's gonna go super bad.
Okay. No, man, it's really, I got a lot of value from the things that you guys do in golf that can actually be implemented in another sport, and that should be implemented in another sport. Because golf is very focused in that mental part on adjusting, recognizing when things are going wrong. And I think a lot of other sports are just about volume or just doing more. And sometimes I think it's very important to stop and say, okay, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong here? Just adjust. And that little thing can actually make a big change.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think my favorite point was like when you said like to keep it on a scale of 5, like being happy and being angry, because when you're getting too happy, like you let it get to your head and like, oh my god, I'm so good right now.
Yeah.
It's also like a different sport. Like for example, you score a goal in football and like, oh my god, let's go 1-0. You're gonna win the game, but then like you're getting too happy and don't concentrate on the basics anymore. So I think this was my like biggest value I got from today.
Yeah, like for example, for me, when I scored a goal, I just went to I was just waiting for the other team to do the kickoff, and I was just rushing to press the other team, because I was in that state of probably 10-9, but then probably pressing the other team wasn't the best thing at that moment. Like we were winning, probably we can go back a little bit, don't rush it. And that's when analyzing and recognizing, okay, I have to go back to that seats that's gonna keep me concentrated, focused, that it's gonna make me perform at my best. Okay, for some people it might be at 10, for some people it might even be 4. So it's like just recognizing what's gonna work better for you.
Because you talked about strategy before, maybe when you're on the 10, like on the scale on 10, you think like, oh, I can do a hole in one.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
But when you're on the 5, you stick to your game plan. Game plan.
Yeah. For me, that's been the toughest thing to do. You know, you're hit, like you know how it works in golf. You have to do 72 strokes normally shots, and you have par 5s, par 4s, and par 3s.
Yeah.
If you do a par 5 in 4, it's a birdie.
It's a minus, so you get -1.
Yeah, if you do it on 3, it's an eagle. I remember one time, it's like super clear in my mind. Yeah. I started birdie, eagle.
Okay, you said like, okay.
I said like, I'm just going for everything today. Didn't end up well. Because you need to stick to the plan.
You got to the 10 and then you went to the 1.
That's the exact point. That's the biggest thing. Like,
okay,
you can screw up such a good golf round, because if you're on the 10, it screws up, but maybe you're able to keep it on the 7, but you're happy because you're doing good stuff.
Okay.
It keeps going, you know.
So you're motivated. You're getting that that reinforcement that you're doing the things right.
Yeah.
You're still focused in
Exactly.
that in what you have to do.
Yeah.
No, man, I think a lot of things in golf, or the mental part, really apply and really should apply to every other sport, because it's actually very, very important, and it makes a lot of sense, like listening to it. So I really appreciate having you here, man. It was really enjoyable for us, and we really got a lot of value from it. And I really hope, and people should have got a lot of value from it, because there's a lot of things that can translate to other sports and also to life, and for the guys that want to get to that college level, knowing from a person that's already in the college level how things are, how the journey was, and maybe can resonate with you, I think it might be very valuable.
I totally agree with that. Those values I got from golf, I think it's something I want to talk people about, something super valuable and something that everybody should have.
Yeah.
Because maybe, I may not be the most disciplined guy going to the gym every day and not missing, but all of the things I talked about, I think I'm really good at doing,
Yeah.
and it's something that I can apply for absolutely everything.
Of course. Like the same thing you said, like analyzing what am I doing wrong, and then having the capacity to readjust it. The same can apply to every situation in life. Like, I'm not gonna go too deep on that, but I think people listening to this can tell, like, when they're doing something wrong,
Yeah.
then trying to force it is most of the time make things worse, instead of just laying down, saying, okay, what am I doing wrong, and then adjusting those things. That's probably the best thing to do, and that's probably I got a lot of value from it, and I hope the people got a lot of value from it too. So I really appreciate having you here, man. I really thank you for your time, and I hope that people really enjoyed it, man.
Thank you guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.